Konnichiwa minasan. Hi everyone. I wanted to do a bit of a longer video addressing a lot of the questions I've been getting asked since I first, put on Facebook that I'm going to Japan. The number one question I think I get is, why Japan? I'm going through a program called USAC, USAC, and they have tons of programs. You should get on their site and take a look at them if you want to go abroad. Their selection is incredible. They have tons of countries, and a lot of the countries have 2 or 3 options within. For example, the first program I was looking at was a program in Osaka Kobe in Japan, and they also have one in Hiroshima as well. Growing up with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Captor, I've been watching anime for as long as I can remember, and then I went from that and I started reading the history and learning about the samurai and the great dynasties. The culture is just incredible all the way around. So I fell in love with Japan, and I saw Japan as an option. I was like, that's it. That's where I'm going. And then on top of that, like I said in the previous video, I'm studying environmental and occupational management. And if you don't know, Japan is currently going through essentially their version of our 70s. If you know Rachel Carson and Silent Spring, they're just now realizing, hey, we have to protect what we have. The environment's not going to last forever. So they're enacting a bunch of laws and regulations much faster than the US, and I'd love to just go be in the middle of it and experience an environmental movement from within the country, because, I missed the 70s, obviously. But it'll be great. It'll be a great experience for me going into the environmental field. I'll get to see, what motivates people to want to recycle or to want to protect the environment. It's a priceless experience that I can't get here. And I could go to another country, but Japan. Another question I get asked a lot is, how am I affording it? And, I'm a college student. Funds are not unlimited. They're nowhere near. But going abroad through USAC, the program is pretty affordable. I applied for a lot of scholarships. There's one through my school that I got. The loans that I usually use to attend Methodist are going toward this because they're government loans, so as long as I'm still a student, I can still use them. And then another big one is the Gilman Scholarship, which is a huge scholarship in the US. They've sent thousands of students abroad with scholarships, and I'm very lucky and blessed to have received the Gilman Scholarship. And I don't think I would have been able to do it without the Gilman Scholarship. It came in handy, and the scholarships are so important, and if you don't get those, it's not going to be as easy, for sure. Apply for all of them, any of them, all of them, because going abroad, while it's not extremely as expensive as everyone makes you think it is, it's also not cheap, I guess, if that makes sense. But I think you get a lot more out of being abroad than you do at home. You take things more seriously. You're put in a new environment, so you don't have sensory fatigue, I guess. Like sitting in high school, you do the same thing, the same schedule, you sit in the same desk, stuff like that. And then if you go abroad, even in high school, if you go abroad, you're suddenly thrust into a new situation and everything is different. So, you're way more aware, you're way more keen on the situation. You tend to pay attention more. So things like that, I think, are going to work to my benefit. What are you worried about? What are you scared of going abroad? So I've been abroad before. I took a 2-week trip with my school to Italy. We studied in the northern region, Venice, Bologna, Florence. So I have been abroad before. So that was my first time on an airplane. So I'm going to be good with the airplane this time, except for it's a 12-hour flight. Plus, it's going to be bad. My legs are going to be so cramped. But really what I'm most afraid of in the country, many countries in the world teach English as the second language. And many people like to speak English. For example, when I went to Italy, if they could tell you were English they could tell by your accent. They would speak English to you. Like, they wouldn't even give you a chance to speak Italian. And my proudest moment in Italy was when I had an interaction with a cashier on the last day and she didn't try to speak English with me. So, I mean, that was a win. So, in Japan, I've read a lot about how they interact with study abroad students because I'm trying to do my research before I go. And everyone there is really excited to be able to practice their English, and I'm worried about not getting to practice my Japanese. I'm afraid I won't get the chance to really immerse myself. I mean, if you can tell I'm American and you just start speaking English to me, I don't get the chance. But I've also read that the Japanese, really enjoy it if you, give a valid attempt at speaking Japanese. So I'm hoping it's going to go both ways. I'm just worried I won't get as much of a chance as I would hope for. A lot of people ask me if I'm worried about, like, the water or, like, getting kidnapped. Not so much. Japan is very clean. They're very kind people generally. No, I'm not really worried about it. I mean, I'm not gonna go wandering around at night in, like, a mini skirt. Like, is that what people are expecting me to do? Because, no. So I'm not extremely worried about my safety. That's like really everyone's main concern when they talk to me or when they find out I'm going. Like, aren't you afraid you're gonna get kidnapped? No, I mean, don't do anything stupid. But really, just the language. Like, it's both a fear and an excitement. Like, I want to go and I want to have a great time and I want to speak Japanese, but what if I don't get to? So another thing a lot of people have been asking me is, what are you going to do? Like, what are you looking forward to when you go? I'm looking forward to being immersed in the Japanese culture and the Japanese language. I'm really looking forward to getting to speak Japanese, hopefully a lot more fluently than I do now. Getting to interact with a whole new culture, like taking your shoes off before you go inside. It's going to be different, but also really awesome. I think I'm most looking forward to trying a traditional bath. I mean, because you see it in, like, anime all the time, and it's like one of those stereotypical things. Like, Americans have hamburgers and hot dogs, and the Japanese have steaming baths. So I'm really looking forward to that. And sushi, like real sushi. And for those of you who don't know, I don't eat meat, so I'm not talking like going over and trying a lot of raw fish. I'm gonna do it because it's Japanese sushi, but they have a lot of vegetable rolls as well. I've had one or two from different Japanese places here in Fayetteville, but it doesn't compare to the real thing. So the food, the culture, the language, the traditional bathhouse. I'd love to visit a temple. I see them all the time. They're like in books and things, like the pictures. Like you see Chinese temples and like, but you see the Japanese ones and like the gardens, and it seems amazing. So I'm gonna make a huge effort to try all these things and share them with you all. And I mean, this is a priceless opportunity for someone who's been really excited for the possibility of visiting Japan. So, not many people have asked me this because maybe I didn't think of it, but the classes I'm going to be taking, I'm focusing mostly on Japanese culture while I'm there. So I'm going to be taking multiple language courses, the one or two mandatory ones, how to get along in everyday life with Japanese. And then I'm also taking a phonetics, kanji class. I'm going to be, hopefully, I haven't been told what classes I've gotten yet, taking Japanese culture classes, studying calligraphy and traditional tea ceremony, and how to properly wear a kimono, all Japanese fan dream. But the classes, the descriptions make them sound like they're going to be really hard, so I'm a little nervous. Some of the syllabus lists like 2 or 3 hours of homework per day, but the schedule is it's a lot different. Some classes only have 1 day a week, so don't miss that class. but it doesn't seem very much like American schools. So I'm looking forward to being able to compare the differences. Hopefully, the learning won't like throw me for a loop because I've been studying in America for 12 plus years now. So I kind of just it's routine the way I study, and I just hope it won't throw me off too much while I'm in Japan. I gotta make the grades. I can't go over there and just party all the time and have a great time and forget why I'm there. So it's gonna be difficult to find a balance, I guess, for me because I'm a workaholic. So one of the big questions I think that needs to be addressed before I go is what do I expect to get out of it? What do I hope to gain from it? I can give the stereotypical answer, well, I'm hoping for professional experience and extending my education. Well, yeah, that's a given. Specifically, I want to have a new perspective on an environmental movement, going and experiencing the laws being enacted, seeing how people interact with their environment, how do they recycle, how do they reduce, reuse, recycle, that kind of deal. So professionally, yes, I'm interested. Academically, I'm looking forward to taking the classes. I'd love to see the difference. I love learning. I've always loved school. So hopefully it won't be too difficult. I'm looking forward to meeting the people and experiencing the culture and learning the language. There's so much, and I've studied abroad before, and if there's anything I got out of studying abroad, short term, it was don't expect anything, because if you expect too much, it may fall short and then you're left disappointed. And if you don't expect, like if you have really low expectations, you get so overwhelmed with it exceeding your expectations that you kind of miss stuff. So I'm just gonna go and let Japan be Japan. So I hope this video has been really informative for everyone. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I'm going to be making a lot of videos. I haven't decided what my timeline's going to be for that yet. But let me know what you think. If you've been to Japan, tell me something. I'm all about learning, and I'm all about this experience. So fill me in, I'll fill you in, and it's gonna be a big adventure for all of us. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you again.